Happy bye week, Patriots fans. No preview this week, obviously, because no game will be played on Sunday. So I want to talk about three big names on the Patriots football team that I think need to use these next 4 games to step up. Why? Because the Patriots aren't going to be in playoff contention this year, but how about next year? What can they do in these next 4 games that can help the Patriots, A, end on a high note, and B, help save their job for next season? But before we hop into that, thank you guys so much for choosing Patriots Today for all of your Patriots information. We have 18,833 loyal subscribers here on today's channel, and we've gained almost 7,800 subscribers this season. But right now, we are 117 subscribers away from hitting a huge milestone, 19,000. So if you guys haven't subscribed yet, go on ahead and hit that sub button for me. I'm going to jump right into it. Here's my watch list. I'm kicking it off with a spicy take. Keion White. We knew that Keion White was supposed to be a breakout player this year for New England, and while he has done that in some regards, I don't think he's been as explosive as at least I was hoping for. And you also have to think, when they traded away Matthew Judon, they were looking full force at somebody like Keion White to take over and not only double his stats, but also make up for the lack of Matthew Judon's stats. And so far, once again, I do think Keion White has had a good season. Has he done what I've wanted him to do? No. When it comes to quarterback pressure, he has 14.6 pressure so far this season, which is about 21st amongst all defensive ends. His sacks are at 5. That's 35th. I thought the sack production was going to be at least in double digits by week 14. Why? Because he started off the season having 4.5 sacks in 2 games. His stops, 37, is actually ranked in the top 10 of defensive ends, which is fantastic. And then his pass rush, he has pass rushed 316 times, which is 20th in the NFL. So he is actually still doing fairly well for a second-year DN in the league. But why am I not satisfied? Well, number one, I'm pointing my finger back to the defensive coordinator. The reason why I'm not satisfied is because DeMarcus Covington isn't using him the right way. We've been using him as an edge rusher. He needs to be on the inside. He needs to be your defensive tackle, and we're going to break that down here. Number one, why haven't we seen more than 5 sacks this season from Keion White? Let's go back to his most recent sack. When it was a giant sack party, we had 9 total against Caleb Williams. The reason why Keion White got to this sack is because, yes, he was lined up at the left edge rusher, but the reason why is because he cut inside and he bull rushed the center and the right guard. Interior offensive linemen cannot handle Keion White's bull rush. So no, this was not a bend that he went around the left side to try to get to Caleb Williams. He cut inside, he club ripped, he went to the right shoulder, he swam inside, and this is how he sacked Caleb Williams, which is a full solo sack. Looks familiar, right? We saw it in week 2 when he was absolutely dominant against Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks. All the way at the top of your screen right there, Keion White, he took his reps inside at defensive tackle, and this poor center, he didn't stand a chance. He took 1 hit to the shoulder. He swam inside again, another use of the club rip, and he literally lunged at Geno Smith to take him down and to grab his 2nd sack of the year. Here's a different angle from it. You can see that all he had to do was that right stutter step, which is going to allow that center to move to the right side, and it throws off Geno Smith. Look at his head. He's still looking forward in the flats. He's still looking more to his left side. That's because Keion White, he thought that his right side was going to be taken over by White. So he stutter steps, cuts inside, and absolutely attacks the quarterback. Joe Burrow, he suffered the exact same thing in week 1. This time, Keion White was lined up at the defensive tackle position. As you can see, Anthony Jennings was there on that left side as your edge rusher, but all he does is he doesn't go after the right tackle. He goes after the right guard. Once again, interior offensive linemen don't know how to deal with his explosiveness. Tackles do. Tackles are primarily there to really help out with those edge rushes. But if Keion White can stutter step and go inside in between that A gap, that's where he is the most effective. So why the hell is Keion White not being played where he's most effective? Well, there's numerous reasons. You also know that Christian Barmore is now back at D tackle, so it's going to make it a little bit harder. You know Devon Godchaux is also there in your center, but White has taken more than half of his snaps on the outside, which could be the answer for why we're not seeing the level of production that we want to from the breakout 2024 Player of the Year ahead of the season. And then to go a little bit farther here, I found my new favorite article from 33rd Team, who wanted to really specify how his strengths fit at the edge position and at the tackle position. At the edge, when you look at his hand size, 10-yard, 40-yard dash, this is everything that gets evaluated in the NFL draft. It's not that great when you're looking at him as a defensive edge. But when you're looking at him as a defensive tackle, which is where you start to see his athletic score get up, you can see the D tackle position labeled right there at the top. He fits statistically a lot better at the tackle position than he does the edge. He actually is below the 50% average mark in most of the categories that you need for size, speed, weight, hand size to be a productive edge rusher in the NFL. But in terms of D tackle, interesting. He is in the top percentile in all of these categories except weight, and I think that the weight actually helps him here in terms of speed. DeMarcus Covington, you're screwing up Keion White. Do something about it. Or am I in the wrong here? That's why I ask you guys this on Patriots Today. Do you want Keion White playing inside or outside on the defensive line? Let me know in the comment section by typing I for inside, by typing O for outside. He is a good edge rusher, but that's not where his strengths lie. And we'll talk about that more coming up on the second half of the show. First things first, if you guys are going to go to any concert, comedy show, theater, or maybe even a sporting event like a championship game, something this weekend maybe, I'm not sure. Yes, conference championships. I know sports. Go on ahead and download Game Time. This is the best app to get tickets to any sporting event out there. I've actually used it for 2 Cowboys games now. My boyfriend's a Cowboys fan. Please don't hate me. And I've also used it for 2 concerts. This has become our love language. I love giving gifts as quality time for anniversaries, for birthdays, for holidays. And with the holiday season coming up, if you guys want to save some money, then I highly suggest using Game Time. Why? Because it's the lowest price guaranteed, and Game Time is just honest. There is no surprise or hidden fees at checkout, which is super nice because the last thing you want to do is spend your well-earned hard money and then find out you owe $200 more for fees you don't even understand. Game Time doesn't do that. Not to mention, you guys can also see your seats, the view from your seats in a 180 panoramic view before you buy. As you guys know, the Patriots only have 2 more home games left. You come to the fine Gillette Stadium. They have numerous different deals. You select the seats that you want. You use promo code ChatSports, and you get $20 off your first time buying tickets. All terms apply. If you haven't already, Game Time picks, that's my favorite feature. They filter out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. One more time, download the Game Time app, use promo code ChatSports. This is going to give you guys $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Use promo code ChatSports for $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply, because what time is it? It's game time. All right, let's talk about Polk a little bit because he has been the biggest bust, in my opinion, this year in terms of recent draft picks. When I look at Ja'Lynn Polk and how he's really shaped up for the wide receiver room, which going into this year, it should have been Polk's year. There was no top wide receiver. There are some top tight ends and top pass catchers, but no top receivers. And he was going to be the it guy through the first 5 weeks of the NFL season. His snap count was up to 100% in week 5. Since then, it is drastically dropped. He took 9 snaps in week 9, 26, 31, 23, and 20. He is playing less than 50% of the offensive snaps now, and there's a good reason for it. Ja'Lynn Polk, my goodness, this is the wide receiver, the self-proclaimed best hands in the NFL. You are statistically the worst hands in the NFL. You've had 30 targets, which is 95th out of 97 receivers this year. What have you done with those 30 targets? You are ass. 12 receptions, that's worst in the NFL. 87 receiving yards, worst in the NFL. And your touchdowns, which have been less than 5-yard catches, do not clap just yet. That's actually 58th out of 97. So that is the bright spot with Ja'Lynn Polk. His best game, still, I think the yards are great. I think 30 yards is okay for a rookie who's just trying to get first downs, and knowing that when he played with Jacoby Brissett, which was through those first 5 weeks, Jacoby Brissett didn't throw it more than 10 yards. So I'm okay with the yards. But the thing that I've realized with Ja'Lynn Polk is that it's the targets and the reception differential that is mind-boggling. 3 catches on 7 targets is his best game. That is not a top wide receiver. That's not even a 4th best wide receiver on any other team with a good wide receiving core. And I have given Ja'Lynn Polk the benefit of the doubt. I understand that he's a rookie. I understand that sometimes it takes a little while for him to gain his confidence to figure out what he kind of receiver he's going to be in the NFL. And I know we don't have the best offensive line to get him the passes that he may need. But I know this. New England is for sure, whether it's the draft or free agency, are going to get their top receiver. Whether it's a T. Higgins or a Teteroa McMillan in the draft, Ja'Lynn Polk has competition coming. So if he does not figure out how to catch the ball, if he does end up getting any targets moving forward in the next 4 games, then he will lose his job in New England. He's already starting to lose his job to Pop Douglas, Keion Boutte, and Kendrick Bourne. But now you tag that on with possibly a well-known name in the NFL like a Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, or T. Higgins, if they were to get them an agency, Polk is gone. So my question here for you guys is, do you think Polk could be a top receiver next season? We saw all offseason long that he was always after practice, taking extra reps with Drake May, but I haven't seen it pay off just yet. Type Y for yes, type N for no. My last one here is going to cause a little bit of commotion in the comment section. I can hear it now. So let me go ahead and save my ass. I think Rhamondre is a phenomenal running back, and I think he has done just fine this season. But I want more from him. And I think I'm allowed to want more from a running back that is statistically having an even worse season than he was in 2023. He's played 12 games so far this year. He has missed, I think, 2 with an injury, maybe 1. 180 carries for 671 yards. Last year, he had 30 less carries for about 30 less yards. He's averaging less than 4 yards a carry. He's spending more time in behind the line of scrimmage than he is in front of it. He has 5 fumbles. He has 1 less fumble than he does touchdowns this year. And I understand that with Rhamondre Stevenson, he can only do so much because the offensive line is terrible. I have never seen a run block be as bad as the Patriots is. And when you look at a player like Saquon Barkley, why is he so great? Because the Eagles' offensive line is a top 5 offensive line when it comes to run blocking in the NFL. So I understand Rhamondre can't explode the way that he needs to. But I've also seen him drastically get worse. How worse? 8 carries for 13 yards against the Miami Dolphins worse. You're not even playing a top defense like the Chiefs. You're playing the Dolphins, for crying out loud. 8 straight games under 80 rushing yards. He didn't have over 100 rushing yards last year. He had it once this season, and then he just completely crumbled after week 2. Yes, he's had a few explosive plays here and there, but consistently, he hasn't been that dominant when it comes to the run game. And I do think that Stevenson is playing pretty subpar. He's playing pretty average. This is a very subpar and a very average team. I would honestly be more offended if he was playing like Saquon Barkley and we still weren't winning. But he just got signed to a 4-year contract extension, and I'm not seeing anything from Rhamondre Stevenson that is giving me hope that these next 3 years we're going to be getting a franchise quarterback that is going to create a dominant run game. Drake May is a phenomenal quarterback, but if the defense knows you have no run game, guess what? It's going to make it hell for Drake May to have anything going in the passing game. Rhamondre needs to meet him halfway, and so far, I haven't felt that. But there is still a couple more games for him to do so and hike those stats up before 2025. And there may not be any cause for concern. So if you guys don't think so, scale it at 1. I have no issues with Rhamondre Stevenson. If you're freaking out thinking this is our future running back for the next 4 years, put 10 in the comment section. Scale how concerned you are with Rhamondre Stevenson. As always, if anything happens with New England, we'll talk about it right here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. So if you haven't already, help us get to 19,000 and subscribe.